is a Friday morning, just before 8:30. I'm in Hannam-dong, just outside Hangang Station. You can see the post there with a name on it behind me. I want you to remember that name. We're going to come back to it. If you were in Hannam-dong or Itaewon, further up the street, and you wanted to get to Hongdae or Mangwon-dong, maybe you wanted to go to Mangwon Market or hang out along Mangni-dang-gil. But if you wanted to head out that way, the most direct route to get there would be to take Line 6 from Hangang Station or Itaewon Station up the street. But if you're here on a trip, you're visiting, you're touring, or if you've got time to kill, you've got an alternate route to take these days. It's longer, it's not going to get you there as fast, but it's much more scenic, and that's the new Han River Bus. And I've come out here today to take you for a ride on the Han River Bus. We're going to get to one of the piers from Hannam-dong, hop on the bus, the boat, and head over to Mangwon Pier, where we will get off and make our way to Hongdae. We're going to start by walking down these steps through Hannam-dong toward the Han River. There are two piers within walking distance of where we're at right now, actually. The pier that is physically closest to us, as the crow flies, is Oksu, the Oksu Pier in Oksu-dong. Then there's a pier on the south side of the river. It's just about 2.5 kilometers away, 2.3 kilometers, something like that. The Apgujeong Pier. It's not much further than the Oksu Pier. The Apgujeong Pier is a straight shot just down Hannam-dae, which is parallel to us, Hannam Boulevard, and then across Hannam Bridge. And then from the bridge, you can get down to the Riverside Park, and the pier is just right there. The Oksu Pier, you got to get to it in a roundabout way. I opted to go to the Apgujeong Pier, not just because it's a straight shot, but because then I can talk a little bit about some history in the area. If you're not up for the walk, you can hop on the subway at Hangang Station, go 2 stops north to Yaksu Station, transfer to Line 3, go 2 stops south to Oksu Station, where you'll have a very short walk to Oksu Pier, and the whole trip shouldn't take long at all. You could also continue 1 stop further south to Apgujeong Station on the other side of the river, catch a shuttle bus from there to Apgujeong Pier. Alternatively, there's a bus stop right around the corner from Hangang Station where you can catch one of a few buses that will take you across the river to Shinsa-dong, where you can then transfer to a bus coming back north and then get off of that bus at a bus stop on the south end of the Hannam Bridge. Take an elevator down to the Riverside Park, and you're right there, very close to the Apgujeong Pier. If you saw my walk through Oksu-dong and Hannam-dong a few weeks back, this is the 9-1 Apartments. Very ritzy place, standing where the U.S. military apartments used to be. The old Hannam Village. I've not yet ridden the Han River Bus. It started operating in September, but then they encountered several issues with it. So in early October, they suspended operations. Well, they kept operating just without passengers to gain efficiency. And then they just reopened on November 1st. At the moment, the first boat runs at 9 a.m. on both ends of the route, the Jamshil Pier and the Magok Pier. And the last boats run at 7:30. They run an hour and a half apart throughout the day. It's just a little over 2 hours between Magok and Jamshil, and they've got, I think, 7 piers total. I'm doing this from memory, but from east to west, I believe is Jamsil, Tuksam, Oksu, Apgujeong, Yeouido, Mangwon, Magok. Was that 7? I think that was 7. One cool thing about the service is it's integrated with the public transportation network, so you can use T-Money, Climate Card, a Korean credit card if you have one that's enabled for public transportation. It's only 3,000 won, and I remember paying quite a bit more than that 30 years ago just to ride a boat out of Yeouido up the river toward the Hannam Bridge here, where it did a U-turn and went back. So I think that's a good price. Although what I don't get, they are kind of marketing it towards regular commuters. And they intend to start running from 7 a.m. sometime next year. They were supposed to start that last month, but the suspension of services kind of threw a wrench in those plans. But I don't understand that completely. The piers are located near subway stations. The Apgujeong Pier is not too far from Apgujeong Station, and Shinsa Station also isn't too far away. The Oksu Pier is very close to Oksu Station, but not all of the piers are very close. So the Apgujeong Pier, if you were going to walk from Apgujeong Station to there, that's probably 15 minutes, maybe 20. So at some of the piers, they have a free shuttle bus to carry you from a nearby station to the pier. But the thing I don't get is, if I'm a commuter, yeah, I don't like the crowded subways during rush hour, but how is it going to help me to get on the Han River bus when I've got to go out of my way to get there and add extra time to my commute? It's going to be faster for me to get on the subway and go and just, put up with the crowd. So I don't know. I just can't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's a great way for tourists to get from one part of the city to another. Now we're coming up on the Hannam Bridge. This bridge was built between 1966 and 1969. It opened in December of 69. And at the time, it was just called Han River Bridge number 3. All of the bridges they were building at that time were given numbers instead of names. It was renamed to Hannam Bridge in 1985 because of its proximity to Hannam-dong. When you look at it, it looks like a pretty wide bridge, but in actuality, it's 2 bridges. The guardrail there in the middle marks the edges of both bridges. And the northbound traffic here in front of us, going this way, this is coming off of the original bridge. The southbound traffic is on the newer bridge. They started work on that in 1996. And once it was opened, they shut down the old bridge and did some restructuring on it, some maintenance work, reinforcement, and reopened it eventually, finally in 2004. So from 1996 to 2004, they built a new bridge and reinforced the old one. If you saw my Oksudong and Hannam-dong video, I walked up on that hill over there where the UN village is now. It's a residential area that used to be for United Nations staff and US military officers, high-ranking officers. It is no longer, but it retains the name. And that area over there in what is now Oksudong used to be kind of a really nice, quiet, idyllic area. There was a lake over there, the East Lake. That was back during the Joseon Dynasty. And during that time, a lot of scholars and upper class people had residences. Not a lot, I don't know how many, but some had residences here on this hill where the UN village is today. And this area that is Hannam-dong wasn't very populated. I've read references to a garrison of troops during the Joseon Dynasty, but I don't know if that's referring to this area specifically where Hannam-dong is. And the area where 9-1 apartments now, that was the US military apartment several years ago. I wonder if during the Joseon Dynasty that wasn't some kind of military garrison. I was just kind of surprised to notice this iconic view of the Hannam-dong and Hogwangdong Hill over there. The church there, what is it? I think it's the Hangwang Church. Below it, they've already done some of the demolition for the Hanam Newtown project. I have not crossed this bridge in quite a while. This is the first time I've seen it. It's kind of a strange feeling right now, considering for the entirety of my life here in Korea, that view of that hill has not changed. Right, so this area was sparsely populated, if at all, and they just referred to the whole area as Hangang Jin. And gosh, I gotta put on my sunglasses. Oh, Jin is the Sino-Korean word for a river crossing or a ford, something like that. The native Korean is Naru. The native Korean naru is found in the names of many ferry sites. Technically, it refers to the crossing. The physical landing where the boat loads and unloads is naruto. The boat is narupe. Easy, right? The Sino-Korean is where things get interesting. Way back when, the ferry landing on the north bank of the river where the Hanam Bridge is today was called both Hangang-do and Hangang-jin. Do in this case is not the do that means island. Here, it's a Sino-Korean character that means to cross, or the place where you cross, a crossing in the general sense. Jin, as it's used here, is a Sino-Korean character for a more specific kind of crossing, a ford, but it can be found in the names of ferry landings like Hangang-jin. Here's where it gets fun. In the late Joseon Dynasty, a military garrison was installed in the area. And it just so happens there is a Sino-Korean character that means military garrison, which is also pronounced as Jin in Korean. So then the area became known as Hangang-jin, as in Hangang Garrison, and the ferry landing became known as Hangang-jin Naru, or Hangang Garrison Ferry. I was under the impression that Hangang-jin Station, where we started today, was named for the ferry. But the Sino-Korean form of the station name uses the garrison form of Jin, so it's actually named for the old military garrison. By 1960, there were 19 ferry landings along the river. At least 6 of the Han River bus piers are located near historical ferry sites. The exception is Magok. Though there is a Magok Naru station on Line 9, it seems it was named as part of a waterfront development project that was eventually scrapped and instead became the Seoul Botanic Garden. There was no known historical ferry site in the vicinity. As the massive bridges across the river were constructed in the 60s and 70s, the ferries began to disappear. The last ferry at Hangang-jin Naru crossed
on December 26, 1969, the day the third Han River Bridge, our present-day Hannam Bridge, was opened.
And now we have the pier for the Han River Bus service, a modern ferry. Look at me, I forgot to talk about this thing right here while we were still up on the bridge. This was constructed in 2008 as part of the Han River Renaissance project. There were 9 cafes constructed along the river. This was one of them. This is a lookout cafe, they call it. And when it opened in April of 2009, it was called Cafe Rainbow. I've been inside it maybe twice. I never really understood it. It's very small. And now it's some kind of K-pop themed thing, a K-pop experience, or at least it was. I'm pretty sure that this used to be a pier for the river taxi.
The water taxi service launched in 2007, but it never really caught on. It only averaged about 7 passengers per day. In 2014, it was suspended after the public became aware that the company operating the service was connected to the Seoul ferry disaster. Service resumed in October of 2016, and it continued until July of 2024 when it was shut down.
And this is the Han River Bus Apgujeong Pier. All of the piers have cafes or whatnot in them. I know one of them has a Starbucks. I think that might be Jamshid. This one has a Cinnabon. And I see a BBQ chicken place. And there's a CU convenience store on the bottom. The weather's pretty nice today. I would prefer it to be a little cooler than it is, but it's a nice day to be out here at the river. I haven't been out here in a while. This is one of those phrases that they've taken and Koreanized, right? Grand opening has become grand open. So when they put it back in English again, they take the Koreanized form and put that into English so it becomes grand open in English. And I think at this point, it's never going to change. It's been that way ever since I've been here. I have seen a few places that said grand opening recently, in recent years, but it's, rare. Let's see, do I have to push this? Yes, I do. Due to internal circumstances, BBQ operations have been suspended. All right, so this is the timetable. We want the bottom one here going toward Mago, and it arrives, well, I guess that's the departure time from Apgujeong is 9:51. So we'll arrive at the Mangwon Pier at about 11:15. Now this place is big, optimistically so, I would say. I don't think Cinnabon is doing all that great here. Tiny elevator. Wow. Smells very nice though. Picnic zone. The staircase was closed off there. On the roof. So I guess since Cinnabon isn't open, I'll just sit here and wait until the boat arrives. Should be about 20 minutes or so. Yeah, so that was a good little ride. I would definitely do it again. No hesitation. 3,000 won, that's not bad at all. From here, we are not too far from Mangwon Station. So if you were going to Mangwon-dong, it's a bit of a short walk, not too far. If you were going to Hongdae, you could, if you wanted to, take the subway from Mangwon Station and go to Hapjeong and then transfer to Line 2 and go to Hongdae. But that's like, one stop to the transfer, then one stop to Hongdae. Might as well just walk the whole way, yeah?
See the light orangish blobs all over the map? Those represent the cafes and bakeries and restaurants and other kinds of shops you might be interested in this area. You'll start to see them as soon as you go through the tunnel beneath the expressway just to the north of the dock. There's no shortage of them. So you can hang out here in Mangwon-dong, take your time, head over to Hongdae when you're ready, or not at all, or head straight there, whatever you want to do. There are multiple routes to get to Hongdae. These days, I kind of think of that entire orange blob area as Hongdae. It's all connected. On this visit, my destination is the area around Hapjeong Station. And since I've got you with me, to get there, we're going to go through the middle of Mangwon-dong and into Mangwon Market rather than taking a more direct route.
A few years back, as the property values started to become more expensive around Hongdae, or at least the rents were going up, the new cafes and bakeries and whatnot started going further and further out. And so eventually, I guess they started coming out here to Mangwon-dong. And then this became kind of a hot spot for a while. It was what they call a date course. The Gyeongni-dang-gil over by Haebangchon. Mangni-dang-gil is the Mangwon-dong version of that. But it's managed to maintain its local quality. The market has. It still feels like a local market to some degree. But these days, it's starting to be frequented by foreign tourists, and that's great. But I worry that it could go the way of Gwangjang Market, which has pretty much lost most of its local vibe. But right now, at least, Mangwon Market is still reasonable. Still a good place to visit. I like coming out here. I like the vibe of this neighborhood, the atmosphere, especially at this time of year. I love coming out here in the autumn. Wow, that lady didn't give me any room at all. Whoa. And here we are at Hapjeong Station. We just came from this direction. The river is down here. The Yanghwa Bridge is in that direction. And just opposite that, going this way, this will take you to Hongdae. Although I guess effectively we might as well just say this is Hongdae these days. It started out years and years and years ago as Hongdae app in front of Hongik University. There's a little area there with a few bars. But these days, the way everything has spread out from that Hongdae station area, all the shops, everything people are interested in, I think effectively so have the boundaries of what people think of as Hongdae. So today, if you want to meet me in Hongdae and say, let's meet at Hapjeong Station, I'm not even going to blink. It's not going to be anything unusual. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today on my first ride on the Han River Bus. If you're visiting Seoul as a tourist, I think this is a great thing to do while you're here. I mean, a lot of people stay out here in this area somewhere in the greater Hongdae area, and I imagine some of them probably want to go to Jamsil to see Lotte Tower or Lotte World and the lake. Sokchon. The name escaped me there for a minute. Especially in the spring, people like to go out there and see the cherry blossoms. So if you're staying in Hongdae and you want to get out to Jamsil, instead of taking that long ride on line 2 all the way around, sitting there on that crowded subway car, possibly standing up most of the way because line 2 is usually pretty busy, you've got this. Go out to the Mangwon Pier and take the Han River Bus to the Jamsil Pier. And if you're a walker like me, you can incorporate that into a walking tour for the day. I'll post some links down below in the description, and I'll make a sticky comment. I'll pin a comment. That's what they call it on YouTube. And that is all I've got for you this time. Thanks for coming along with me. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for joining my channel membership. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.